Hello everyone. Welcome to our Exploring English podcast channel, and are you looking to improving your English speaking and listening skills? Look no further. Our podcast conversations are the perfect way to improve your English language skills. By watching our podcast conversations, you'll be able to hear authentic English spoken at a natural pace by native speakers, helping you to better understand the language and improve your listening skills. Additionally, by listening to our conversations, you'll be able to pick up on common English phrases and idioms, helping you to improve natural when speaking English. So, join us for our podcast conversations and take your English language skills to the next level.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So today we're going to be tackling a topic that I think is pretty much unavoidable in our modern world.
Oh, absolutely. It's something we all deal with every single day.
Exactly. We're talking about our phones.
Our trusty companions.
Or sometimes maybe our frenemies. I don't know about you, but
Oh, yeah.
I definitely have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this little device.
Well, that's exactly what we're going to be diving into today. The pros, the cons.
Yeah, the good, the bad, the ugly of phone use.
All of it, because they're so powerful. They're such powerful tools. They can be used for incredible things.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the mission, I guess, of this deep dive, right? We want to help you, the listener, understand really the full picture, the benefits, but also the drawbacks, because
Potential downsides, yeah.
I think only then can you really make informed decisions about how you use your phone.
Absolutely. Take control. Be in the driver's seat.
So, what are we looking at today in terms of the source material? Because we always like to be transparent about where we're getting our information from.
Oh, for sure. We've got a really interesting mix, actually. We've got some recent studies on the psychology of smartphone. You use a couple of articles from tech journals about the evolution of mobile technology, and even some opinion pieces from both sides of the spectrum.
Oh, wow. So we're really getting a broad perspective.
Yeah, a multifaceted view.
I like that. Okay, so let's dive right in then.
Let's do it.
I guess the first thing we got to acknowledge is that these things are pretty amazing.
Right?
I mean, they are.
Like the fact that we have this tiny little device that can connect us to pretty much anyone in the world.
It's mind-blowing.
It's pretty incredible. And not just connect, that's like voice calls, but video calls.
Right, text messaging.
Messaging apps.
Social media, all of it.
All of it. It's like having a portal to everyone you know in your pocket.
Yeah, it really is, which is amazing. I mean, think about it, like even just a couple of decades ago, something like that would have been like pure science fiction.
Like the stuff of Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's like...
It's commonplace.
It's just normal. It's everyday life.
They take it for granted.
We totally take it for granted. So I think that's definitely got to be like...
Number one pro.
Yeah, that's got to be pro number one, connectivity and communication.
For sure. And it's not just about, keeping up with friends and family either. I mean, think about all the ways that this kind of connectivity can be used for good.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like in emergency situations, or for people who are working remotely, or for activists organizing movements across borders.
It's really transformed how we interact with the world.
It really has.
Okay, so pro number one, connectivity and communication.
Check.
But it doesn't stop there, right?
Not even close.
These things are like little mini computers.
Yeah.
We've got access to information like we've never had before.
It's incredible, just this wealth of knowledge at our fingertips.
Right, it's like having a library in your pocket.
Literally. And you can do anything. You can learn a new language. You can research a topic for work.
You can find out how to fix something in your house.
Find a recipe. I mean, anything.
Anything. I mean, I've totally used my phone to like troubleshoot weird car noises before.
Oh, yeah, haven't we all?
And like, amazingly, it actually kind of worked. So Sometimes you get lucky, but yeah, I mean, it's really changed the way we learn.
Oh, absolutely. It's democratized knowledge.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So
anyone with a smartphone can access information that previously would have been much harder to come by.
Okay, so that's pro number two. Information and knowledge to the people.
Now, I don't know about you, but I am a very disorganized person by nature.
Really? I would never have guessed.
I'm a mess. But my phone has become like my lifeline in terms of staying organized.
Oh yeah, the organizational apps are lifesavers.
Seriously, like calendar apps, to-do lists, reminders.
Note-taking apps, project management. It's all there. It's like having a personal assistant in my pocket.
Well, and it's not just about remembering appointments and deadlines either.
Right.
These apps can actually help you be more productive, with things like time blocking or setting goals or breaking down large tasks into smaller chunks.
Yeah, I mean, it's really helped me to kind of get a handle on my time.
Because it provides that structure, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which a lot of us need, especially in today's busy world.
Totally. So pro number 3 is productivity and organization.
And I think we can all agree on pro number 4.
Oh yeah, this one's a big one.
Entertainment.
Endless entertainment.
We've got music, we've got streaming services, we've got games, we've got books.
Social media?
It's all there.
It's all there, and it's all on demand, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, you're no longer limited to, what's on TV or what's on the radio. You can choose exactly what you want when you want it.
Right. It's like having a personalized entertainment system.
In your pocket.
Always with you.
Always available.
So yeah, I mean, I think we've made a pretty good case so far for why
we love our phones.
Yeah, why we love our phones so much. I mean, they're incredibly convenient.
Incredibly powerful.
They connect us, they inform us, they entertain us.
They help us get things done.
They really do. It's hard to imagine life without them at this point.
It is, but as with anything, there's always another side to the story.
Yeah, there's always a flip side, and we're going to get into that
We are.
after the break, so stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're back, and we just spent some time praising our phones.
Just singing their praises.
But like we said, there's always another side of the story.
There is that flip side, the downsides.
Yeah, the less glamorous
Sing.
aspects of phone use.
Exactly.
And I think one of the biggest ones, and probably the one that people talk about the most, is
These addiction.
addiction.
It's like that feeling of, I can't put it down.
Oh, yeah.
I just got to check it one more time. Just one more scroll.
It's like a compulsion almost.
It is. And the thing is, these devices are designed that way. Oh, yeah. They're designed to keep us engaged with those notifications, the infinite scroll, the likes, the comments. It's all engineered to keep you coming back for more.
It's like a digital slot machine almost.
Kind of, yeah. You get those little dopamine hits every time you see something new and exciting, and that keeps you hooked.
So it's not really our fault then.
Well, I wouldn't say it's not our fault entirely, but I think it's important to understand that these companies are using very sophisticated techniques to keep us engaged.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they've figured out how to hack our brains.
In a way, yeah. They've tapped into those basic human desires for connection and novelty and reward.
And we're all susceptible to that.
We are to some extent, yeah.
So what are we supposed to do about it?
Well, I think the first step is awareness. Realizing that this is happening, that it's not just you being weak-willed or something.
Right, it's like a system that we're all kind of caught up in.
Exactly.
So once you're aware of it, then what?
Yeah. Then you can start to take steps to manage it, There are things like setting limits on your screen time, turning off notifications, being more mindful of when and why you're reaching for your phone.
Okay, so it's all about being more intentional,
Exactly.
not letting the phone control you.
Right, taking back that power.
Okay, I like that. And then there's the whole issue of mental health.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I mean, we hear a lot about how phone use, social media especially, can have a negative impact on mental health.
And there's a growing body of research that supports that link.
So what is it about these devices that can be so damaging?
Well, I think part of it is the comparison game. Social media often presents this very idealized version of reality.
Oh yeah, it's like everyone's highlight reel.
Exactly. And when you're constantly bombarded with images of people looking perfect and having these amazing lives, it's easy to start feeling inadequate.
Totally. It's like you're always comparing yourself to this unrealistic standard.
Right. And that can lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, low self-esteem.
And it's not just the comparison thing. Right?
No, there's also the constant stimulation, the fear of missing out, FOMO, as they call it.
Oh yeah, FOMO.
Which can keep you glued to your phone even when you know you should be doing something else.
Or even when you're not really enjoying it anymore.
Right, you're just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling out of habit or out of this fear that you're going to miss something important.
It's like a vicious cycle.
It is, and it can be very draining, both mentally and emotionally.
So it sounds like it's really important to set boundaries with our phones, not just for our productivity, but for our mental health as well.
Absolutely. Creating some space for yourself to disconnect, to recharge, to just be present in the real world without that constant digital input.
I mean, it's like we need time to just be bored.
We do. Boredom is actually really important for creativity and for problem solving and for just kind of letting our minds wander.
And our phones kind of rob us of that.
They do. They fill every spare moment with stimulation, which can be great sometimes, but it's also important to have those moments of quiet and stillness
Okay, so addiction, mental health. What else?
Well, there's also the issue of distraction and decreased productivity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, have you ever tried to focus on a task and then your phone just like pings with a notification?
Oh my God, all the
And
time.
it's like impossible to ignore.
It's like my brain is just wired to respond to that sound.
It's that Pavlovian response. You know, we've been trained to associate that sound with something interesting or important.
So we have to check it.
You have to check it, and then boom, you're down the rabbit hole. 20 minutes later, you're like, what was I doing?
It's so frustrating.
It is, and it's not just the notifications either. It's also the urge to just check our phones, out of habit or boredom or just see what's going on.
It's like we're constantly multitasking.
We are, and the thing is, our brains aren't really designed for multitasking.
Really?
Yeah, we think we're good at it, but actually what we're doing is just rapidly switching back and forth between tasks.
Which is not very efficient.
Not at all. It
Yeah.
takes longer to get things done, and the quality of our work suffers.
So basically, our phones are making us less productive.
In many ways, yes.
Not good. Not good at all.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we've got addiction, mental health distraction.
And there's more.
Well, there's more.
There's also the issue of privacy and security.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
I mean, these devices hold so much personal information about us.
It's kind of scary when you think about it.
It is. And the thing is, we're constantly feeding them more information, with our browsing history, our location data, our contacts, our photos.
It's like they know everything about us.
They know a lot. And that information is valuable not just to companies, but to hackers and scammers as well.
So we have to be really careful about how we use our phones and what information we share.
We need to be proactive about protecting our privacy. Using strong passwords, being wary of phishing scams, being mindful of the apps we download and the permissions we grant them.
Okay, so it's like a digital hygiene thing.
Kinda. Yeah, we need to take care of our digital selves, just like we take care of our physical selves.
And then, of course, there are the physical health risks.
Oh yeah, the physical toll that all this phone use can take.
I mean, have you ever gotten like eye strain or headaches from staring at your phone for too long?
Oh yeah, totally. Or neck pain, or even finger pain.
Yeah, it's like our bodies are not designed to be hunched over these tiny screens all day.
They're not. And then there's the blue light issue.
Oh, yeah. But
which can interfere with our sleep.
Right, because it messes with our melatonin production.
Exactly, and that can have all sorts of negative downstream effects, on our mood, our energy levels, our cognitive function.
So it's like a double whammy.
Yeah.
Our phones are stressing us out, mentally and physically.
Yeah, it can be, yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And it's clear that there are both benefits and drawbacks to phone use.
Definitely.
So the question is, how do we find that balance? How do we enjoy the convenience and the connectivity and the entertainment without letting our phones take over our lives?
That's the million-dollar question, and that's what we're going to be exploring in the next part of this deep dive.
All right, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, so we're back, and we've had kind of a roller coaster of a conversation about phones.
We have, yeah, from the heights of their awesomeness to the depths of their potential downsides.
Yeah, exactly. But I think we can all agree that they're not going away anytime soon.
No, they're here to stay.
So the question is, how do we live with them in a healthy way?
Right. How do we find that balance, that sweet spot where we're using them to our advantage without letting them control us?
Yeah, exactly, because I think we can all agree that there is such a thing as too much phone use.
Absolutely. When it starts to interfere with your relationships, your work, your sleep, your mental health, that's a sign that something needs to change.
Yeah, totally. So I guess the big question is, how do we make that change?
Well, there's no one-size-fits-all answer, but there's a lot of things you can try.
Okay, so like what are some practical tips?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to just be more mindful of your phone use. Pay attention to how much time you're spending on it, what you're using it for, how it makes you feel.
So it's like a self-awareness thing.
Exactly, because once you're aware of your habits, then you can start to make changes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh,
So
yeah.
once you're aware of it, then what?
Well, then you can start to set some boundaries, like designating certain times of day as phone-free zones.
Oh yeah, like no phones at the dinner table.
Exactly, or no phones in the bedroom an hour before bed.
I've heard that one a lot, actually.
Yeah, it's a good one because the blue light from our phones can interfere with our sleep.
Right. So set some boundaries. What else?
Well, you can also try turning off notifications for non-essential apps.
Oh yeah, those can be so distracting.
They really are, and they create this sense of urgency, like you have to respond immediately.
Yeah, it's like you're always on call.
Exactly. So just turning off those notifications can really help to reduce that stress and that feeling of being overwhelmed.
Okay, turn off notifications. What else?
Well, you can also try using your phone's built-in features to manage your screen time.
Oh yeah, like those apps that tell you how much time you spend on your phone.
Exactly. Some of them even allow you to set limits on certain apps.
Oh wow, that's cool. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it can be really helpful because it kind of gives you that extra little nudge to put your phone down.
Okay, so be mindful, set boundaries, turn off notifications, use those screen time management tools. Anything else?
Well, I think it's also important to remember that your phone is a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
It's all about how you use it.
Exactly. So be intentional about how you're using it, Choose apps that enrich your life, that help you connect with people, that make you laugh, that teach you something new.
Okay, so be mindful of the content you're consuming.
Yeah, exactly. And don't be afraid to unfollow or mute accounts that make you feel bad or that trigger negative thoughts.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's like curating your digital environment.
Exactly. Creating a space that is positive and supportive and that reflects your values.
I like that. And I think it's important to remember that it's okay to disconnect sometimes.
Absolutely. It's essential.
Like, it's okay to put your phone down and just be present in the real world.
Yeah, go for a walk without it. Read a book. Have a conversation with someone face to face.
Those things are important.
They nourish our souls. They connect us with what really matters.
And I think ultimately that's what it's all about, right? Finding that balance between the digital world and the real world.
Exactly, because both have so much to offer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive.
It has. I've enjoyed the conversation.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I think we've covered a lot of important ground.
I think so. Hopefully our listeners feel a little bit more empowered to manage their phone use in a healthy way.
That's the goal. So if you're listening out there, remember, you're in control.
You have the power to choose how technology fits into your life.
Don't let it take over. Be mindful. Be intentional and make it work for you.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.